You're watching Newsbeat.
Here's a look at what we're working on today. Hope for any signs of life dimming in California as searchers poke through ash and debris from the wildfire. The death toll rising as well as the number of missing. We'll have the latest.
And a major recall involving a popular turkey brand. Just in time for Thanksgiving. We'll tell you what you need to watch out for.
But first, we continue to follow the deadly mass shooting at Mercy Hospital. What we have learned about the 3 victims that include a Chicago police officer and a possible motive. Newsbeat starts right now. Hello, I'm Anupika Khare.
And I'm Zariah Faulkner, and we're learning more and more about the chaos inside and outside, and how Mercy Hospital had been preparing for this moment.
Newsbeat's Daniel Deasley is here with our top story. Daniel?
In a tragic twist of irony, Mercy Hospital had conducted an active shooter drill last month. Little did they know they would have to use those training skills in a few short weeks. Today, both the hospital and the Chicago Police Department are mourning great losses as we learn more about what sent the shooter into a rampage.
Shots. So we all ran to the emergency room window. We see this guy out there, military style, shooting at the police. Pow, pow, pow.
A witness describing the horror outside Mercy Hospital Monday afternoon when a domestic dispute turned into a mass shooting. Around 3:30, police say the gunman, Juan Lopez, shot his ex-fiancée, Tamara O'Neill, an emergency room technician, in the parking lot. During the shootout, Officer Samuel Jimenez, who had joined the force less than 2 years ago, was killed. A usually tough Mayor Rahm Emanuel choked up as he remembered the father of 3.
A death in the line of duty, selfless in his actions. That's a moment we all fear.
Also killed, 25-year-old Dana Less, a first-year pharmaceutical resident. Police say Dana Less was shot in the head as she stepped out of the elevator. Officials have not said whether gunman Juan Lopez was killed by police or if he shot himself. Police confirm Lopez had a concealed carry license. Officer Jimenez is the second Chicago police officer killed in the line of duty this year. I'm Danielle Deasley. Back to you guys.
In a matter of hours, the Chicago Police Department went from celebrating to sadness. That's because earlier, the department welcomed 88 new officers during a graduation and promoted hundreds of detectives hours later. The department was mourning the killer of their brother in blue, Officer Samuel Jimenez.
Bankruptcies want to pay its executive $19 million in bonuses. They say it's to make sure the top level executives stay put while the company tries to reorganize. Sears filed 2 types of bonus plans in bankruptcy court late last week. Sears Holdings, based in Hoffman Estates, has been closing stores, laying off workers, and losing more than $100 million a month. A judge still needs to okay the bonuses. A hearing is scheduled for December 20th.
The race for Chicago's next mayor now a little more than 90 days away. Ever since Mayor Rahm Emanuel announced he would not run for another term, the list of candidates has multiplied.
Newsbeat's Simone Malcolm takes a look at 4. She's here with our campaign 2019 coverage. Simone?
Thanks, Anupika. Here are 18 candidates who say that they want to be Chicago's next mayor. Of course, they all have to meet the filing deadlines. With so many candidates running, how does one stand out? For some, it might be name recognition, and for others, it's who you know.
I'm running for mayor. We can shape Chicago's future together. Let's get to work.
Mendoza is pushing out commercials and raking in donations. She's raised $700,000 in less than 2 months. Mendoza is considered a top candidate in what is a crowded field of familiar faces and new up-and-comers. The candidate with the most famous name in the race is Bill Daley.
The safety of our citizens is number one. And without the support of the people for the police department, their job becomes impossible.
Daley, who worked in both the Obama and the Clinton White Houses. His father and brother were both famous Chicago mayors. Tony Preckwinkle, Cook County Board President, is said to have $500,000 socked away for her mayoral run. Some experts say she is indeed the frontrunner, but the rising star everyone is talking about is Amara Enya.
Oh, we're focused on our race. The people who are here because they support this campaign, this message, this vision.
She is one of the youngest to ever run for mayor in Chicago. Her biggest campaign donors come from the music industry. Kanye West and Chance the Rapper are putting their money where they want the votes to be. Enya says she's ready to win.
We are focused on the task at hand, which is to make sure we get on the ballot and that we are successful in this run.
If you see anybody in the city petitioning, anybody, whether it be for the mayoral or aldermanic elections, I think it's important that we get young people who want to be on the ballot on the ballot.
Yesterday started the week-long period for candidates to file their signed petitions to ensure that they will be on the February 26th ballot. So far, only 5 candidates, including Preckwinkle, have filed their signatures. Get ready for some more debates and political ads.
Thank you, Simone. So heading out of town for Thanksgiving?
You're not alone. A record number of Americans will be traveling by plane, train, or automobile. According to AAA, more than 54 million Americans will travel at least 50 miles for Turkey. It's the highest travel volume since 2005. A majority of travelers, 48 million, will be hitting the roads. The worst time to travel out of Chicago? Wednesday between 2:30 and 4:30. The Dan Ryan will be packed. Heading to O'Hare, 1:30 to 3:30 will be the worst time. AAA says the best time to travel is Thanksgiving Day. If that's not possible, pack patience and leave early.
Still ahead on Newsbeat.
Is the long-standing feud between Jim Acosta and the White House finally over? The White House backs down from a legal battle, and so does the cable network. We have the latest.
The cost of a Thanksgiving dinner is down for the 3rd year in a row. That means more to spend on Black Friday shopping. Find out how much next.
Mother Nature is expected to step in and lend a helping hand in California. Heavy rain this week could bring an end to the threat of more wildfires, but may cause a different problem in the form of mudslides. 5 more sets of remains were found Saturday. That brings the death toll up to 76 from the Camp Fire. It has killed more people and destroyed more structures than any fire in California history. Officials say that nearly 1,300 people are still missing. Rescuers are still searching for them, but everyone hopes that the people will be found in shelters or staying with a friend.
Midterms are over in Florida as the vote recount madness has finally ended. Governor Rick Scott defeated Bill Nelson in the Senate race, and Andrew Gillum conceded for the 2nd time to Governor-elect Ron DeSantis. The person in charge of Florida's recount stepped down Sunday. Brenda Snipes resigned right after the controversial recount was certified. The office she ran admitted that they misplaced more than 2,000 ballots over the weekend.
After much controversy, the White House has finally restored the press pass of CNN reporter Jim Acosta. They yanked the pass after Acosta and the president got into a heated argument during a news conference. But the White House is coming out with some new rules soon. In a letter to CNN, White House officials say reporters are only allowed to ask one question at the press conferences. Follow-ups will only be allowed if the president or press officials say it's okay. They specifically warned CNN reporter Jim Acosta that if he does not follow the rules, there will be consequences. President Trump went even further. He said he will walk out if he thinks the reporters are not acting respectful.
Still to come on Newsbeat at 11? If you're staying in town and going to Grandma's house for Thanksgiving, what kind of weather can you expect right here in Chicago? Your Turkey Day forecast next. Plus, before you thaw out and cook ground turkey, we have got a major recall to pass along. A popular turkey brand is recalling more than 91,000 pounds of raw turkey because of salmonella. The products recalled come from Jenny O Turkey and include packages of raw ground turkey that was sold nationwide. Go to the Jenny O website for the recall labels, but all of the met has a use by date of October 2nd, 2018. If you have some, throw it out. Government officials say the outbreak is widespread in the turkey industry, but this is the first recall so far. Here are some food safety tips. Consumers should thaw turkey in the refrigerator, wash your hands after handling raw turkey meat, and always cook your turkey until it's done with an internal temperature of 165 degrees.
Have you done your Thanksgiving shopping yet? Look like your grocery bills might be a little bit cheaper than last year. According to the Farms Bureau, Americans will spend nearly $50 on their holiday meal. That's the cheapest Thanksgiving has been since 2010. Experts say that the price went down because of turkeys are 3% cheaper than they were last year. However, your pumpkins and cranberries may cost you a little extra. Difficult weather conditions have raised the prices of the holiday favorites.
Winter is already here, and I'm hoping for some good weather this Thanksgiving.
A good way to burn off some of those Turkey Day calories, we're not talking about Black Friday shopping. Take a look. Ice skating with the family at the new ice rink at the Sports Center on California West Irving Park, as you can see, is indoors and cheaper than shopping. Here's Danielle Deasley for a look at the Thanksgiving holiday weather.
Thanks, guys. We woke up to some snow on the ground, but that might be all we see for the rest of the week. Taking a look at our current forecast, we've got a high of 33. We'll hit that around 2 p.m. But for now, it's around 31 degrees with moderate winds blowing west-northwest, and that'll kick up the intensity of this cold weather. So it's going to feel like 24 out there. Pretty chilly. Taking a look at the area, we are all nicely settled around 30 degrees. Waukegan and O'Hare right around 30. The hottest is going to be in South Holland at 32, so at least we're all in this together. Taking a look at tonight's weather, it's going to be really similar conditions. Again, partly cloudy with moderate winds and a high of 30. So it's going to dip pretty low, but you know, that's what we're in for. It is winter. But luckily, the rest of the week will bring some warmth. Wednesday will be slightly warmer than today. Partly cloudy skies, a high of 36 and a low of 28. And Thursday, Turkey Day. It will be a beautiful day, honestly, shocking. A high of 39 and a low of 34. I'm not saying turn your meal into an outdoor picnic, but it will be perfect conditions if you want to race a turkey trot or head outside for some football. And things are going to get even hotter on Friday. It's going to be a high of 47 and a low of 42. Mostly cloudy, but the sun's going to peek out a bit. And if you're outside Friday night, try to get a look at the moon. It's going to be full, so a great opportunity there. Moving on to the weekend, it's going to be not as nice. It's going to be a high of 47 and a low of 39. Still hot, but that precipitation is not going to make it super fun. And Sunday, it's going to dip a little bit, getting back to our winter weather with a high of 41 and a low of 35. So an interesting weather week ahead, but I'm excited for a warm Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's exciting for sure. Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks.
Thank you for the forecast. Coming up, what's going on with Blackhawks and the Bulls?
And a comic book legend is gone but never forgotten. The presence of Stan Lee would live on forever through his comics and movies. Fans reflect on what he brought to the community and what he meant to them. Marvel fans were heartbroken after hearing that their greatest superhero creator has passed. Mike is here to help us reminisce Stan Lee's amazing work. Mike?
This past week, we've lost a legend in the entertainment industry, a man who created legends, and by all accounts, a great person.
There's some of the stories that I wrote so many years ago are still being read and hopefully enjoyed by the public.
Stan Lee, born Stanley Martin Lieber, was born on December 28, 1922. Throughout his life, his greatest accomplishment has been his long career at Marvel and the superhero revolution, which he caused by the characters he created. Stan Lee's most famous characters include the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and Spider-Man. He used his characters to make people feel and show humanity. The Fantastic Four had to pay rent. X-Men were about not being racist to those different than you. And Spider-Man was about a normal nerd. While the stories he created mattered, the man himself was insanely important. He was an amazing person who cared about other people and worked until the final years in his life to meet his fans and do what he could for others. We will all miss Stan Lee. Here's the man whose phrase will live in infamy.
Excelsior!
Stan Lee was an industry titan and someone who never lost the ability to be humble. He is someone the world will miss for many years to come.
Yeah, definitely. You're right, Mike. So who's your favorite superhero?
I think Spider-Man is my favorite, especially that he created. It's the way that persona just fits like an average person in a lot of ways. And it's even though they're really smart, you feel like the humanity in them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
Still ahead in sports.
The Bears, Bulls, and Blackhawks. One of them is not like the others. We'll tell you who keeps winning next. The battle of two titans, Bear versus Vikings. But it was smooth sailing for the Bears. We have got the highlights.
Plus, bad news on the ice. The losing streak for the Hawks may be over, but they're not out of the woods just yet. Stay tuned. Well, how long can the Bears keep this going? It's been exciting so far.
It really has. I wish we could say the same thing about the rest of our teams. Newsbeat Scott Johnson has more.
Yeah, the sun is shining with the Bears, but there's a dark cloud over the Hawks and Bulls. The primetime Bears are proving they belong on the big stage with the big dogs. They just keep on rowing downstream and nobody is stopping them. But stop me if you've heard this before. A beautifully orchestrated defensive game plan held the Vikings to 0 points in the first half. In the game, they had 2 interceptions, including another pick six, a forced fumble, and 2 sacks. Definitely was not Trubisky's best game, but they didn't need it to be. Who they did need? Cody Parkey, to knock down 3 field goals. They play at the Lions on Turkey Day this week. The Hawks have won 2 of their last 3 games after losing 8 in a row. Jonathan Taves scored off the bat in the first against the Minnesota Wild. Next, Brandon Saad flipped in a second goal. Corey Crawford, killer in the net. He finished with 39 saves. The Hawks beat the Wild 3-1 and faced the Washington Capitals on Wednesday. And on the court, is it possible the Bulls are worse than we thought? They were blown out again this past weekend. The Bulls were up by 18 to start the second half of the Bucks game. They ended up losing by 19. And the Raptors showed no mercy at all when they made the Bulls look like a G League team. The Bulls lost by 39 to the Raptors. Now, add insult to injury, Denzel Valentine, who hasn't played this year, will be out another 4 to 6 months after having ankle surgery this week. And finally, real quick, holy NFL, that was a fun football game last night. The Rams and Chiefs scored a combined 105 points, third most in NFL history. Redskins quarterback Alex Smith fractured his leg Sunday on the anniversary of Joe Theismann's leg injury on the same 40-yard line with him in the stands. Ouch. And to the diamond, a big trade. The Yanks get starting pitcher James Paxton from Seattle. They sent over their number 1 prospect in pitcher Justice Sheffield. And that's it for sports.
Thanks, Scott. And thank you for tuning in to Newsbeat. I'm Zariah Faulkner.
And I'm Anupika Khare. For Daniel Deasley in weather and Scott Johnson in sports, have a great day and happy Thanksgiving.